subclass to attributes.
No. I just hated I hate the direction they took that stuff. So we'd probably use the classic Volos guide. Because the whole shtick is making bone weapons out of the corpses of their enemies, eating people. Generally alive, by the way, not dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the lore I remember was mostly just that they're your friends until they're dead.
Are you saying that you're upset because you don't get to eat people alive?
Well, think of like someone eating a dead corpse is like the food just spoiled. It's like past the expiration date where it's like, it's good, but like, it's definitely not in its prime anymore.
Yeah, it's being a predator versus being like a scavenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get going. Have fun.
Bye bye.
Go wear pants. Hi, chat. Bye, chat.
Blizzard Entertainment. No, he doesn't mention it much, but he used to work at Blizzard. A little known fact about him. Well, with all the drama going on, I think he's fallen out of relevancy because I haven't heard anything about him in a minute. That's what? They're two very different things. Oh, Arwa?
では、前に出ます。
Hello, chat. Again, sorry for running a little bit behind here. Last couple days, I keep having a little bit of technical issues. I think each time I go to start up the stream. I would very much prefer if that were not the case. Just getting the last little bit done here. I did just get the go live tweet out. Do me the favor, chat. Go give that some love. You guys know the drill. Really helps me out. Okay, should be good to go. Hello, chat. Here is today's artwork. Do me the favor, go give it some love. The Aurelia art looks like Shadow Garden. It's really funny because if anything, it's supposed to be like a cyberpunk piece, but I did want it to like her to be like, you know, like on a bike and stuff. So she has like a proper like biker suit. You could say it's like Shadow Garden. You could say it's like Celti from Durarara. Like there's a whole bunch of like things that you could argue it is, and I think it's just because there's a whole bunch of different like IPs that use a very similar aesthetic. Blanket Man? Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just a little bit cold here. It was not cold today, but like now as the sun's going down, I think it's getting a little bit cooler. So it's like just in the house, it's kind of cooled off a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, blanket feels good. So I am Blanket Man today. Hello, Shadow. How's it going? Hello, Fuzzy. Hello, Cag. Hello, Fields. Rayless, Jay. And Skylar. And AFK. And Drifting and Shadow. I got Durarara vibes from it. Yeah, I could totally see that. Like, it was not my intention originally, but when Vanko started drawing the piece, I was like, oh yeah, like why not, right? And again, we do have today's fantastic art piece, so make sure you guys go give the artist some love. I have 3 hours left to finish the NA event. I believe all I really need is like, yeah, because like the gold there will probably auto-complete itself. So I really just need bronze, I think. So I may be able to get it done here with just these runs. Thank you, Pachi, for having the exact CE that I need. I've already done my Grail casting for the month on both servers. So we're kind of ahead of the game on that. I wanted to make sure I got that done early because like, November's a busy month. We have Thanksgiving really late this year, and I was like, I don't want to like forget in the midst of like Thanksgiving / Black Friday. So I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, get it done for the month, not have to worry about it, not have to mind it. We do also have Guda Guda upcoming, but that's still probably a ways off. I've had some people ask about it. I thought about potentially doing a video for it tonight, but I think what I will do instead is I'll probably wait till like Thursday and we'll post the video Friday. That'll spread it out a little bit. It won't make it necessarily all like back to back and then nothing else for the rest of the week. And it will also make it so that there's a little bit like closer proximity to the event proper. I'm waiting for Guda to cast. Yeah, I don't blame people. Hello, William. Hello, Robo. Decked out for winter because my roommates like to keep the apartment at 68 degrees. Yeah, I usually keep it at like 72. And girlfriend keeps telling me that that's really cold, which is fine. Some people are used to it warmer. I usually keep it fairly cool, which 72 is fairly low for Florida here because air conditioning is kind of rough. So I keep it definitely on the lower side. It definitely gives me a little bit of a higher energy bill, but I do it mostly for the dogs because the dogs don't want to be like, you know, mid 70s and stuff. That's still decently hot for them. Must be below 90 degrees today in Florida. It is. Lurk tax, thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you to all my lurkers. Glad I finished shopping on the ladder on JP. Yeah, I like JP. JP, we got to look at. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to need in that regard. It just depends. But like, I'm still trying to like keep an eye on it on the side too. But JP still has a bit of time, so we don't have to like actually hard grind it. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some campaign here. Frickin' Durara. I will add this to the playlist. Love Durara, man. I would love for it to be 72. The South is wild. 72 is too cool. Florida heat and humidity is no joke, sadly. Yeah, you guys got to understand, it's very difficult to cool a house to that level in Florida. You absolutely can. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like you're going to be pushing your air conditioning quite a bit for that to happen. But like I said, I suspect it's colder in the house right now than that. Hence, or maybe I'm just a little bitch. One of the two is definitely possible. Which ascensions of Kenshin's do you like most? I'm really drawn to her second. Let me look, because I actually don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like, to me, the second is the weirdest. I do get why people like it. But to me, it's like the first if you really want to go with the nostalgic look, and the third if you want to go with like the badass like goddess of war look. Third is too much. To each their own. But yeah, it's weird for me. I feel like if they had done more with the second, I would be more of a fan with it. JP still is a week, yeah. Area 62 over here, still fresh. Oh yeah, no, like I know, like for some of my friends up north, it's gotten colder already, which is kind of wild, all things considered. Oh, I do have the other two Grail fronts. Shit, I did forget about that. Well, let's do this run and let's see. Just focus on getting AP down for right this second. Happy Triple N. That's right. Non-stop nut November. To be fair, though, it's already been November for 4 days, chat. So, like, come on. I like all three. All three are good. Like, she'd be one where it's like, if it were on random, it wouldn't piss me off. It would be perfectly fine. Waiting for the CE experience of Guda Guda? Yeah, Guda Guda has quite a bit. We should also get the low stars back in the pool, if I remember correctly. So it is definitely a very lucrative time to roll out your FP. I really would love it if they would give us the 100 spin quality of life for it, but honest to God, I doubt they're going to. Like, I think that sort of thing is dictated entirely by JP, and the NA staff doesn't really have much say in it. But who knows? Maybe they will prove me wrong. Yeah, it feels like it's copium. I also saw apparently Chaos Zero Nightmare. I think it's another gacha game that's out right now, and people are like bitching about the story in that. Apparently, it had like very late stage changes in it. I know Ash has also been playing Do It Night Abyss. There's definitely been quite a bit of developments in other games at this point. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's go to JP real fast. Spend AP down there before I start popping apples on another server. Apparently more stuff with the Nintendo patents. Yeah, I posted that. I don't know the validity of that claim, but it's really interesting if true. And I'm going to say, because like I saw the assertion would be that it would either get, sorry, hold on. That he would either get reviewed or thrown out. And I'm going to tell you right now, chat, there's no way it's not going to be this. Nintendo's patent is a patent on summoning a creature to fight another character. Like, no. That's been a thing since before the Pokemon franchise existed. So, like, can't be much more generic than that. Yeah, that's really their problem, is that they went too generic with it. So I just don't see it standing up. They're like, oh, it might get revised. I'm like, it's not going to get revised. It's going to get entirely thrown out. If they want to try again with a much more like narrow focus, they might be able to get a patent. But doing it how they're doing it, it's just not going to be a thing. The ancient story of summoning creatures to battle, right? Square Enix did it way before Pokemon. I mean, I think even before Square Enix, you had other people doing it. Like, it's just one of those things where... oh, God, what did I just go in with? I went in with a Castoria. Okay, this will be an interesting run. I'm just not going to get a redo on any of this, and I will not have a buster up. So I'm going to need very select cards here. This could still work, though. Technically, charge-wise, I still have enough to brute force it. This is one of those where it's like, I do wish I had brought Oberon, though. But it may come down to that quick crit. Wizards of the Coast, too? Oh, yeah. No, I mean, D&D's had it as a thing for a long time, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, your Windows taskbar is showing. I mean, that's fine. It's not revealing anything. And it usually does show most of the time on stream. It does reveal what the temperature is here currently. Seems to have copies of the order from the patent office, so it seems legit. Yeah, I just don't know if the assertions in connection with it are true, right? But if it is, it is. Taskbar and not just cursor. I mean, there. Is it that triggering to you, chat? Because again, usually if I do like my screen capture thing, we will get like pop-ups down there. In terms of JP devs thinking backwards, you have Capcom thinking mods are evil. Yeah, it's really weird because I feel like on one hand, they're so close. Like some of these devs are so close to like quote unquote getting it right. And then there's others where you're like, bro, what are you doing? I was happy, damn you. You can't have everything. What up, ACH? But yeah, no, I think it's a really interesting set of like circumstances that we have with the patent stuff and everything else. And I'll just be curious to see how things go over time at this point. Man, Tristan, that would sure suck if you took another double phantasm to the face. I also like the Arteria Lancer art you have. Thank you. You can always type in !art and it will give you the source. But yeah, I think like Nintendo's just overstepping. They're doing stupid stuff. They've gotten way too greedy. It is just absolutely backfiring on them. And they're not gaining any goodwill from it. Now, obviously, they don't view it in such terms. They view it in the terms of like they're protecting their copyright. That's really all they care about. It's to them, it is a singular focus because they're so concerned with losing the like Pokemon copyright and stuff like that. And I don't blame them for it, but I do think they're being overzealous with how they choose to apply it. And I think reasonable people would have just looked at it and been like, no, you're fine. Like, you don't have to do that. But I think there was a whole lot of pressure to protect their IP. And I'm going to be honest with you, part of that is from Pokemon fans. The Pokemon fans have been nigh unsufferable about, like, Pal World. And it's going to be great watching just how many people are, like, hypocrites when, like, MiHoYo comes out with their own Pokemon game. And they'll suddenly be like, oh, this is great. Yeah, there's no problem. Like Pal World already did it. Now it's not a problem. But, like, Pal World was like the devil to them. And you're just going to, like, watch them say all this stuff, and it's going to be like, okay. I'm a fan of that character and a fan of Rin Tosaka as a character. That's all good. There's plenty of Rin fans in chat. What's up, Sam? Have you been? It should still be strong enough. Yeah, it's got to be strong enough. I'm like second guessing myself since I had that weird turn. Fandoms have ruined a lot of franchises. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think like we could sit there and we could say like the fandoms are the ones ruining it, but I think there's a lot of like contributing factors, right? So like if you look at like a normal IP, you have obviously like the company, you have the fans, you have tourists, and I think they all kind of have their own issues. So let's use an example everyone knows. Let's use Fate. In Fate, we can look at this and we can sit here and we can say like, yeah, I think everybody has some problems here. What are some problems with some tourists? Now, some people would sit there and say it's like, oh, it's the people that haven't read the visual novel and don't know, quote unquote. I would argue that's not really that big of an issue. Maybe the diehard fans would call those people tourists. I would say they're still fans. Tourists are more the people where it's like, they didn't bother to read anything or watch anything, but they're a fan. Tourists are the people that like they lack basic comprehension and yet they want to like flex their opinion on it. So it would be like, as an example, chat, this would be like me trying to talk in depth about like Warhammer 40K, having just played like 2 of the games and having watched a couple of YouTube videos, and that's it. Like, I've not read any of the stuff. I've not played tabletop. I have not played far more of the games that are out there, and even with the games that I have played, it's not like I sat there and read all the lore on them, right? So that is a tourist. And that's why, like, you'll see me, it's like, I might offer my opinion on something, but I don't expect anybody to, like, actually, like, treat it with any sort of merit, because obviously there's going to be things that I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I don't, like, go out on Twitter and try to, like, pass myself off as an authority. But there are some tourists that'll do that. So we have the same problem in Fate, where you'll have people that'll, like, just literally not read FGO's story. And then they will sit there and they will try to talk about the story. You will have people that will sit there and they will doom the game, and yet they didn't watch any of the dev interviews. You will have people that will, again, try to sit there and try to claim, like, Unit A is better than Unit B, and they have not looked at any of the actual data. And they do this stuff, and you look at that and you're like, yeah, you're a fucking tourist. You don't actually know what you're talking about, and you're just trying to throw your opinion out there like it does matter when it doesn't. That's the tourism problem. What are the fan problems? Fan problems are usually things like, hey, fucking tourist, get out. Basically, fans are going to gatekeep everything. And to a degree, an amount of gatekeeping is necessary and healthy for your IP. But there's also a point where you're being way too overzealous with your gatekeeping. There's also the other problem of, if you are a diehard fan, you have the problem that is the exact same as a tourist. You get overly opinionated, and you think your opinion matters too much, right? So the issue at play with something like this would be, and I would put it to you guys in the sense that, like, imagine a new Fate thing comes out. Let's say it's a new Fate anime, and you're just sitting there and you're shitting on it because it's not as good as your favorite Fate anime. That is a fan problem, where it's like, the product might actually still be really good. It might be a healthy thing for the IP, but you are shitting on it because it doesn't live up to some impossible to reach standard. We do see this with certain, again, Fate, like animes and stuff over time. I think it is a problem. I do think there's also the issue of toxicity within a fan base, partially with what we just talked about, but also just in general to each other and to other, like, people that are maybe interested in getting into it. How fans represent themselves is going to be how the entire community is represented in the eyes of newcomers. So if fans are extremely toxic towards newcomers, people are not going to want to join the IP. They're not going to want to embark upon the journey and learn it because they think it's fun, because the fan base is ruining it for them. I see this quite a bit. Unfortunately, yes, FGO has a major problem with this in this regard. A lot of that is just based off of things like Reddit and Twitter, and people just being damn unsufferable at times. They can't let things go. They have to, like, be right. They get in stupid fucking arguments over things that don't matter. You name it. And again, obviously, things like just general toxicity and gatekeeping. It is what it is. That is the problem there. Now we move on to the last one, which is the company issue. Company issues can be a multitude of things. It could be your writer just all of a sudden deciding he wants to arbitrarily retcon something. Company issues could also be the board decided unilaterally that this was going to be a live service game with a bunch of FOMO, DLC, and microtransactions. So you have different decisions that are going to be at play in a company setting that can also fuck with the IP. Companies get a hugely bad rap nowadays, and it is 100% deserved. But there are some circumstances where maybe it isn't, and people do get a little overbearing. Again, things like fans and tourists just calling them out for things that don't actually necessarily matter. Examples of this would be like, let's say, again, you have made a decent anime for the Fate IP, and it actually should be something that people would love, but because highly influential, like, content creators or fans are calling it out and saying it doesn't live up to their impossible to reach standard, the product is now seen as less than acceptable and basically bashed by everybody, and you are the one that gets blamed. In that regard, yes, you could definitely say ultimately at the end of the day, public perception is perception, and that what everybody believes in the majority is going to be how your product is long-term viewed. But we do see things like this over time where people's opinions on things change. Again, look no further than, say, Cyberpunk, where the game originally came out. Everybody was shitting on it. And then later on, all of a sudden, they fix some stuff. They release an anime and everybody loves it. And it's now their favorite game ever and the bestest of the best, according to a lot of people. This is exactly what we mean, is that like a lot of the time people are just way too harsh and we see a lot of knee-jerk reacting. So it's not necessarily the company's fault because it's like, oh, the product is bad. Yes, in the case of something like Cyberpunk, it definitely had its issues. Some of the bashing was 100% warranted due to the decisions that they had made. And that's why they're to be blamed for that. But also on the flip side, they definitely did their work and they fixed things. So that's why people are willing to let them off the hook. So you do have a little bit of both sides of things. You have kind of an overreaction at times to things, but also you do see cases where companies, if they do what the fans want them to, they will be perceived in a positive light. And I do think that's probably one of the biggest problems facing a lot of IPs nowadays. Companies just want money. They don't care about the fans anymore. They don't care about the people that are actually giving them the money. So there is this triangle-like relationship between fans, money, and companies, that companies want the end result, but they don't want to go through the efforts to actually appease the fans to get the end result. So because they're trying to skip things and because they're trying to cut corners, they're 100% shooting themselves in the foot over time. We see a lot of poor decision making happening on behalf of companies, and it really just is a bad thing from their standpoint. They don't realize that though, because a lot of what they're looking at is the short term and trying to get rich quick schemes in an effort to boost short-term earnings and company profits, and to make themselves look good so that they can get their own bonuses and packages, like in the case of CEOs and other upper management, so that they get those performance-driven incentives and actually get more money out of things. So in a weird way, kind of the setting and the culture is what is pushing that stuff. So we can even say some of that is not necessarily like their fault, but ultimately at the end of the day, what is their fault is the fact that they have the choice to make these decisions. They are supposed to be good stewards of their company and its IPs. So if they're not developing their intellectual property successfully, and they're not considering the wants and desires of the fans, they're inherently going to make poor products. And as a result, they're going to keep having bad results. They're going to end up not making the money that they want. They're going to see their goodwill with the fans evaporate, and they're going to see people just kind of getting up in arms over every stupid little thing that they do. So again, as you see, when a company starts making good pro-fan choices, it's usually why the company gets beloved. Somebody brought it up earlier, but this is why Capcom does get a lot of leeway with people, is because, well, yes, Capcom does stupid, scummy, shitty stuff all the time. Capcom also does try to do things that help appease the fans. They do understand that that is essential to the development and ongoing sort of stewardship of their intellectual property. If they don't do those things, it will crash and burn because of the scummy stuff they have done. So they know that, and they do it, and they do it well. Wherein there is the problem then is, again, that companies just start making unilateral decisions without considering what the fans would like or want. And this is why we start having a lot of issues. I will say, just as another little bit of addendum, one of the other problem with fans is that you start getting fans. That is to say, you get people that join, they are originally a tourist, and they convert themselves into a full-fledged fan, or so they would have you believe. But they're usually not people that were there from the get-go. They're not the original core group of fans. And these, quote, new fans have a different set of parameters and desires and things that they want to look for because they're fans of the shittier version of the IP that the company did. Because of this, there is a split in the fan base, and it definitely causes a lot of toxicity. It definitely causes a lot of drama, and it's why you have such polarizing opinions on various different things. Look no further than Star Wars for an example of this, where fans kind of all universally hate the sequel trilogy, but there are still some fans that like the sequel trilogy and will defend it to the death. Why? Because they just are the ones that have kind of come in after the fact and decided that they were going to like Star Wars suddenly, and that was the thing that they saw, and that's their first experience, and they love it. So you do have some really bad sort of toxicity there, where again, these two groups are functionally fighting themselves. And you can say they are considered to be part of the fan base. It's a split in the fan base, and ultimately it's not a good thing. And the only people to blame for that split is the company. So to me, all three of these definitely contribute, but at the end of the day, a lot of it is due to the decision making of the company. It's what drives some of the fans wild. It's what makes some of the tourists so toxic and turns them into fans that just are not real fans and want something completely subversive to the IP itself. So that is why we have this entire John fucking Madden of a graph here. Said content creator makes it way worse to get into the series than it really is. Yeah. And Earn, they give it the sub. Appreciate it. How you doing today, bud? Old Pokemon gamers versus modern Pokemon gamers. Right. Yeah. You could say the same thing with Final Fantasy. Old turn-based Final Fantasy versus action Final Fantasy. And you have people that'll swear by action. You have people that'll swear by turn-based. Who's right? I don't know. Usually in these set of circumstances, I do have a tendency to side with whoever the old guard is, because they're the ones that made the IP popular. The IP would not be there for the new touristy like fans to come in and usurp and change it if not for the original fans that made it popular. So if you fuck somebody over to appease the new group in the effort to broad appeal, well, that's the idea for a lot of this, is they're trying to do broad appeal and cover all their bases. But broad appeal is a fucking lie, because all it really means is that you're willing to piss off one group to try to gain another group, and it's not a good idea. If you want to grow your IP, just try to broaden its horizons by adding additional features and things to it. Don't try to sit there and change what the core of it is. If you try to change the core of it, you're just naturally going to have that split, as we've mentioned before. And it's so weird. We're starting to see this in just about every single IP out there, which tells me that one, you have cultural shifts that are causing it, but two, you also have just major problems with the stewardship of the IPs. Like, chat, can you guys name me an IP that hasn't been like awash with controversy now in the past like 10 years? I'm sure there's an example, but I'm legitimately curious to hear what chat has to say. Oh, did I not press? Oops. Oh, well. Kat, do you think there's any long-term value in grinding out the event on NA for the last 2 hours just to get the command codes and call it quits? Yeah, I mean, I think to a degree that's fine. It's like, if you feel like you can't complete the event, that sucks. I would tell you to like stay on top of it more in the future, but yeah, I would get what you can from it. There's a lot of value in just kind of trying to grab whatever is like highest priority in an event. Persona. Even with Persona, I understand that there's been some drama with the like remakes. Though I don't think that it's been bad. So you may have a decent example there. I don't think Crash or Spyro has gotten into any controversy. Well, okay. let me state this. Other than an IP that hasn't done anything in the last 10 years. Because obviously it's like if you haven't done anything, then naturally it's good, right? Now, even then, you still have some examples of where that is the case, right? Like, take Metroid, chat. Metroid hasn't really done anything. And yet there's still been controversy and drama because of how it's happened. It's like there was supposed to be things, but the company was not managing the IP well. There was Dread. I'm not super familiar with Dread. I mean, Breath of the Wild was well received, as was its sequel. I would argue that Legend of Zelda has had quite a bit of controversy, though, due to it. Because some people do not like the changes of Breath of the Wild, and they believe that the newer Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom games are not a true Zelda game. I don't entirely agree with that standpoint, but I do see where they're coming, and I do kind of sympathize with it. Like, they are fantastic, but they are not the original feel of Legend of Zelda. Why do am I just like not pressing buttons? People hate Wind Waker. Yeah, I don't really get that one either, other than like maybe just a general, hey, we don't like, having to go island to island. But I will say this. Within fandoms, you definitely have people that have taste issues where it's like they don't like this or they don't like that. It's like, oh, this version of the IP, they don't like it. I'm willing to say, like, well, yes, that is a form of controversy. It's not necessarily the worst, assuming it's not like wrecking your entire thing. So, like, let's take the Star Wars IP again as an example, because it's one I'm really familiar with, right? What's the problem with the Star Wars IP? Well, it's that the sequel trilogy is supposed to represent the future of the franchise. And that future's dead. The other potential future would be in the expanded universe. But Disney killed that. So, if this is bad, and this has been killed off, now you understand why Star Wars fans are upset, right? Like, their only future is bad, and that's not a good thing. Disney couldn't do the EU right, even if they tried. I mean, Disney's biggest thing is they need to act as a like producer and just step out of it and not have like any of the decision making. Control the budget and nothing else. Wasn't the main Wind Waker controversy people complaining that Legend of Zelda went back to Kidling? No, the main Legend of Zelda controversy was literally the cell shading art style for it. Some people just really did not like it. There was a lot of like complaints involving Wind Waker because yeah, like going back to being a kid, having to be in the ship and island hopping the whole time, like it just really depended. But people had a lot of opinions on Wind Waker. That being said, I think Wind Waker is still quite beloved over time, in the same way that I do think like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will be too. They weren't ready for the change. Yeah. I mean, in a weird way, you can say a similar issue has happened with the Final Fantasy franchise, where like the franchise has changed and people were not ready for the change. However, the initial changes, I don't think were that bad. So like the changes to the generic turn-based system as we approach like Final Fantasy 12, I actually don't think 12 is a bad game. And it's still actually turn-based behind the scenes. But people didn't like it. And so because of that, we got 13. And 13 was even more different. And because of that, we got 15, and 15 was just full-blown action. And because of that, we got 16, and 16 was full-blown action. So it's like the company wanted to gravitate away. And the mechanism for doing so was because people complained about 12. So it sucks, because like 12, I think, gets a bad rap, but it's really not that bad of a game. At the end of the day, it's what enabled Square Enix to change the franchise. Because again, Square Enix is who I think of when I say trying to reach a broader audience. Square Enix is just stupid for what they've tried to do with Final Fantasy. They want to reach a broader audience, but then make it a console exclusive. Yeah, no, 15 was Hold Square to win. 15 is basically spam Warp Strike, or if there were multiple enemies, then you spammed your like stupidly like insane crafted magic. Was there a controversy with Fire Emblem Birthright Conquest? That I don't know. I know the one that has like that came out fairly recently that has like the protagonists that have like the switch color hair. I do know that people had some things to say about that, about the game being like way too much for kids. But besides that, I think it was still well received. Engage, maybe, yeah. I don't remember what what each of the names of them are. Fire Emblem has had major issues with localization and cutting dialogue. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I do think localization is a dying profession. Like actually, chat. I think localization is going to be dead in the next 10 years. Prove me wrong. Because I do think one of the biggest advancements for AI is going to be in language translation. I actually think so. Now, yes, there will still be like nuances and things like that. You're still going to probably need somebody to kind of like go over what the AI translated with a fine-tooth comb. But I think your localizers are done. I think like the vast majority of them, I think like 99% of people are going to get fired in that industry soon. Mostly because they are functionally becoming a liability. And let me explain this to you guys too. This goes back to the fans versus tourists argument. One easy way to spot a tourist. Yeah. If you watch Goblin Slayer and somebody starts complaining about the tone of Goblin Slayer and the scenes that they depict in Goblin Slayer, are they a fan? Or are they a fucking tourist? They're a fucking tourist. Because if you're somebody that's upset about those things, why the fuck are you watching it? And that's just it. They're not actually watching it. They just want to complain. So that is another example of things like that. So as we start moving forward into the future, localizers are kind of creating this liability where they change things, they inject their own agendas, and they cheapen and worsen the product. As a company, you don't like that. That is less money that you are going to get. You are paying somebody to fuck your game up, to fuck your product up. That's not a good thing. So I do think those people are going out the way. Because the other thing I think a lot of these companies don't understand, you don't need to localize things. There is definitely what we'd like to call a language barrier. Whoops. Okay. Language barriers are going to be things that don't translate well. Why? Because you have cultural differences. Okay? And a cultural difference means that something's not going to translate over well. At best, though, this is something that you need to explain with a note. At worst, this is stupid. An example of this was going to be, again, like if you go back to Pokemon and you look at the early episodes and you see Brock and he's holding a rice ball and he's literally, it should be called onigiri, but instead he's sitting there saying, "Oh, my jelly donut." And everyone looks at the screen and they go, "That is not a fucking donut. That is stupid." And it's meme worthy and it makes people laugh. But it's absolutely not a good localization. Even if you did, the correct localization would have been a rice ball, a rice cake, you name it. Like just rice. Like that would have been fine. People would have understood that. They maybe would have found it weird, but who cares? Why is this such an issue? The answer is it's not. Companies think that cultural differences are an issue, but they're not. Because to anybody consuming something from another culture, they obviously have to pass a simple logic test. And stream die? I can't tell if it's like doing good or not. Back? Okay. I think that was just Twitch. I see nothing on like my end. Like I have no drop frames. But I legitimately think that was just the Twitch Invest server. But yeah, sorry about that.
では、前に出ます。
Okay, maybe it's my internet. Since that was the thing, I guess I had a hiccup on my end. But yeah, sorry. With cultural differences, people think this is a big issue, and it's not. Because there is a logic test that has to be passed whenever you guys are going to try to like consume something from another culture. You know you're consuming something from another culture. Therefore, you know there will be cultural differences. Therefore, something weird that appears in something produced by another culture is not going to trigger you. And if it does, holy shit, you need to climb out of that rock you've been hiding under and go see the world a little bit. That's not on them to try to educate you. Yeah, that is exactly how it's supposed to work. Cultural differences are fine, they are healthy, and they are good. Trying to localize away every cultural difference is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Worst case scenario, just explain the difference so that you do educate the person. Don't change the work. Changing the work is subversive. It's actually harmful to the original art form and product that you wanted to produce. This is why I say it's not an issue. Companies are eventually going to get this idea. And what we do see is the companies that are currently already getting this idea are Japanese. Because the Japanese are tired of having themselves slandered because of the stupid shit of localizers. And now more and more and more of them are switching over to just using AI for translation. That's why I say localizing is going to be dead. People are, if you're a Japanese company and a localizer fucked you over multiple times, it hurt your goodwill with your consumers. It made people overseas think that you're stupid or dumb or bad. Why the fuck are you going to pay a localizer for the next product you do? You're not. You're going to tell them to fuck off. You're going to fire that guy. You're going to have OpenAI sit there and do it for functionally pennies on the dollar, and you're going to be fine. And yeah, there'll be some jank. Yeah, there might be a mistranslation here and there, but it'll be better than something that's actually subversive to the work. That's the issue that we're going to have nowadays. People just don't want to actually pay for garbage. And we see that. So if they can cut out the middleman that's turning the product into garbage, why wouldn't they? I mean, chat, this is the entire concept of like Costco. If you're a wholesaler, you can sell direct to the customer without going through this guy. This is the way things normally work. But if you can get rid of the merchant and you can sell direct to the customer, you make more money. Why do you go to a merchant still? Because you need the merchant for access to markets. But if you don't need the merchant for access to markets, why would you bother paying them? They're literally just driving up the price and making the customer dissatisfied. The exact same concept with localization, chat. You have, again, the creator, or we could say rights holder. You have the consumer, and you have the localizer. But if the process of going through the localizer changes the work and makes it worse, you're going to cut out the localizer. And you're going to go direct to the consumer. Why? Because then your work isn't changed. Your reputation is saved and you make more money. The consumer is willing to give you more money because you now don't have to pay this asshat. It's exactly what we're going to see in the future. I think corporate America is kind of setting up AI to get killed by the next generation. It's really funny because AI is definitely got a whole lot of like promise, but it's also being squandered. Because on the flip side, AI also has a whole lot of problems. AI also has a whole lot of ethical issues. If we would actually supervise AI, take things in moderation, and try to, like, use AI to improve our efficiency, we would be good. But instead, we are trying to use AI to basically reduce reliance on human labor. We are trying to, instead of making human labor more efficient, we are trying to get rid of human labor entirely. Simultaneously, because we're not supervising it, we're getting actual problems. And you're not that far off from somebody putting an AI in some sort of combat capable device and it going haywire. It's gonna happen. And somebody's gonna be like, how are we supposed to predict this? And it's like, of course, you fucking idiot. Did nobody think to supervise the AI? Like, put in a damn kill switch. One thing I'm seeing AI being used is even more brain rot. Yeah, I'm actually becoming a big proponent, chat, in if you don't want to be brain rotted, if you want to do something with your life and have a fulfilling life, it's still okay to do things on the internet. It's still okay to play video games. But y'all need a balanced life. Stop brain rotting yourself. Go out. Go for a walk. Go work out. Go do something outside. Go do a community activity. That can be playing sports in a like local adult league. That can be volunteering at a charitable organization. It doesn't really matter. Just do something. Do something so that you're not terminally online. So that you're not permanently brain rotted. And that way you feel like you're actually being productive. Because that is the future that humanity is headed towards, is dooming and glooming everybody into this like perpetually like isolated state where nobody ever talks to anybody, nobody ever hangs out with anybody, and everybody just consumes on the internet and just becomes absolutely depressed. So it's like one of the best things you can do for yourself. Go do something. CEO had to apologize because the chat bot went rogue and was blocking the screen to fill out support tickets. Delete Twitter, major step forward for a lot of people. I think you can have Twitter and it's fine. I think if you're on Twitter, let me say this, chat. If you are on Twitter for more than 1 hour a day, you need to uninstall Twitter. Tell me I'm wrong. And I think this applies to every social media. If you're on Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I don't care. If you're on social media for more than an hour a day, you're fucking doing it wrong. Go read a book. Go talk to someone. Twitch is social media? It is to a degree. And I still think you could make a decent argument that you shouldn't be on Twitch very often. Twitter's a problem for people without self-control. Kind of like gacha and gambling. Yeah. That is the exact mentality that I'm going with here. Is that some of these things are just subversive if you overconsume them. Some of them are not, but it really just depends on like what you're trying to do. I'm on Twitter because several of the artists I follow just post exclusively there. I don't think there's anything wrong with supporting an artist. But I do think it just feeds the beast at this point to say that like, oh, we all just need to like be on Twitter just to support artists. Well, what about supporting other people? What about basically doing something else on Twitter other than supporting an artist? What about instead, like, finding a different way? Like, maybe becoming an artist yourself. I think it's really weird the more I see, like, how lockstep people get to, like, supporting artists, and simultaneously how artists behave. I think, like, that is, as we look at something like AI art, that is one of the reasons that AI art has become so prevalent. And now the reason why I believe more than 50% of artists you guys see on, like, Twitter or Pixiv or wherever are using AI. Like, you don't necessarily think that is the case, but it is. There's a ton of artists that showed up that are artists that are actually just people that have trained on AI. But there's also a ton of artists that were originally, you know, hand-drawn, everything like that, and they now use AI as part of their process. I'm barely on it anymore. Yeah, I think, like, Twitter to me is a news aggregation site. That is how I use it. It's also a degree of social media. It's a degree of, like, interaction. However, I'm also going to say that you need to limit your time on it. If you're spending too long on it, you're just doom scrolling. If you're just doom scrolling, you're going to see fucked up shit. If you see fucked up shit, you're going to get depressed. You're going to, like, feel bad. And that's why I say it's like, you do need to limit your time. You need to limit, like, how much you're actually spending consuming social media. Because the other issue I think that social media has is that it's very quick to make people think that, like, oh, I need to compare myself to X or Y person. That is one of the evils of social media. And I don't think it's a good thing. A lot of public announcements where I live are only communicated via Twitter. It's so awful. I don't think that's a problem. I honest to God, I don't think it's a problem if a public media is doing something on social media, right? Like, sorry, public media, not a public media, but like a government, right? Or something like that. I think that's A-okay. However, that doesn't mean that you should sit there constantly doom scrolling Twitter, waiting for an announcement to happen, right? If you guys are catching what I'm getting at here. I think if we're to look at something like Twitch or YouTube, depending on how you use them, they can still be perfectly fine, but they can also get to be as bad as the other social medias. Like, if you're just kind of sitting there terminally watching Twitch all day, you're not doing anything. Simultaneously, if all you're doing is watching people that are, like, making you feel bad, it's definitely not a good thing for you. I think at the same time, though, you have the upside to something like Twitch, where you could say it's like, oh, hey, I'm getting to meet people from the community of my hobbies and interests. That's a good thing. It's the same deal with, like, Reddit or something like that. It's like, yeah, you might actually get to meet people that are actually good. However, with every bunch of apples, there's probably a bad one. So the key, and I think a lot of this comes down to handling things in moderation, not, like, letting the bad apple ruin the bunch and basically ignoring people that you find to be overly toxic. It's how I have operated now the past, like, 5 or so years, and mentally I'm in a much better space for it. Like, I do not overconsume social media, and most of what I look for on social media is, like, gaming news at this point. And, you know, to a degree, art as well. I do like leaving Twitch on for noise in the background. Yeah. You used to be able to curate your timeline stuff, but not anymore. Now you can just see swarms of shit you didn't want to see in the first place. Blocking doesn't even work how it's supposed to anymore. You can still curate your timeline. And I know this as somebody that does use, like, Twitter regularly and definitely has a very curated timeline. It just requires you to basically sit there and, yes, like, you have to block certain things. You have to tell Twitter, like, I don't want to see this. I'm not interested in this. And you're going to have to do it over and over and over again. And you still will occasionally get the occasional thing that you don't want to see. But, like, for instance, if we were to go on mine, I'm not going to show chat because I do follow artists that do post NSFW stuff and I don't want to get banned. But so let's see. Very first thing, let me refresh my timeline. Okay, Chaldea Gurus had their go live tweet. I see an art of Nero. I'm going to retweet that. I see an art of Blonde Blazer from Dispatch. I'm now looking at some sort of goofy skit between Batman, Superman, and the Green Lantern. I see a tweet by Fox. I see an art piece of Jalter as a witch. I now see another art piece of Umu. I see another artist I follow. I think that's Mei Mei from Jujutsu Kaisen, I think. I see another artist that has retweeted another artist talking about how to render tights. I see a dog post. I see a picture of 2B with her ass cheeks out. I don't know what this one is. This is another art piece. I think it's just fantasy art of like Drow. Looks really good. I see absolutely 100% AI art of Morgan Le Fay. That is definitely a lewd cosplayer, and now I'm very glad that I didn't show chat my timeline. There's another picture of Dispatch. Beelstarmon from Digimon. Another art piece there. Another art piece. Another art piece / comic. Another picture of Blonde Blazer. Now, this is a like random post that's, I think, a shit post, but it's like a trending post on Twitter. And by the way, chat, this is all my following, all my for you, not my following. A shit post about Final Fantasy. A picture at somebody's basically like desk setup with all of their like anime waifus. Somebody tweeting about FGO. More news about Dispatch. Artwork of Susan Storm. Apparently artwork of Soul Calibur, which is kind of weird because I have definitely never liked anything with Soul Calibur in it. More artists talking. A shit post about Fallout. And apparently now Japanese government is proposing no interference in creative works. So basically them saying that their new policy is going to be that you're not allowed to fuck with anime, which is actually really cool. The point being, my timeline is exactly what I want to see. It's not things I don't want to see normally. So you can tailor it. But again, usually I'll scroll through, I'll see like the first like 40 or so things. After that, I get back off of it. There's nothing that I'm going to see. I might check it like one other time that day. That's usually my interaction with Twitter. And I feel like that is already a lot. And it's like, I cannot imagine scrolling on Twitter for longer than that. Who is the 2B artist, by the way? A friend of mine is Rinkov, who does basically 3D animation. Not NSFW, so I can show it. But pretty darn close. I see you liking the Arturia pics on Twitter. Yeah, 100%. Like, so it also has to do with who you follow. It also has to do with what tweets you like and retweet and what you interact with. Even things you don't like or retweet, if you click into them, the algorithm logs that. So it's like, you might have to tell it, no, I'm not actually interested in this. That might be the only way to get it off. Hey, smelly man with a blanket, I'm here. Hello, stinky man who just got home and hasn't showered. I did shower, thank you. I don't believe you. Okay, so we're good on the NA event, other than I have 2 Grail fronts I gotta do, chat. And they're gonna take a second, so let's try to do them as fast as possible. Because these are the only 2 I have left to do, because they still give rewards. You can't Uno reverse me on this? Yes, I can. Did you use your shower bacon? They keep telling AI not to use their stuff. Oh, you're talking about the like whole open AI and Sora like thing with like Japanese artists saying don't use our shit. Yeah. And to be fair, they should have done that from the get-go. I do think like open AI is going to get sued because you guys got to understand Midjourney got sued. And to my knowledge, Midjourney lost. So I think that's next up is you're going to see like Sora AI and like some of the other major like ones like getting just raked over the coals. I need -10 cost. I don't know, man. Give me Medusa. Still too much. Nope, it's just going. Okay. What the fuck do you mean shower bacon? Man's creating words? No. Just ask anybody in VIP. They know what shower bacon is, Ash. How do you not know what shower bacon is? It's not even remotely close to the first time I've brought this up. And you have heard this word multiple times. I think what's going to kill modern AI is copyright infringement. Yeah, and I do think like you're going to see a big push for AI not to be considered copyright infringement because I suspect they're going to want people to like actually they're going to want like AI to be able to flourish and they're going to complain about it. That's right. I'm going to kill you all. Why are you going to go drink a ginger ale? Okay, big boy has at least some NP here. When Patreon catches enough shit to go after all the people monetizing the AI art, it will be a treat. I think at the end of the day, what you're going to see is you're going to see some sort of like legislation is going to have to get passed. Either reforming DMCA and copyright law or trying to like provide some sort of like regulation towards AI. And that'll be the only way that this bloodbath will finally stop. Oh my god, fingers! Bloodbath and Beyond. Yep. Hmm. Guess we'll just stagger like that. Wow. Okay. I did not think Ptolemy was going to kill him that hard. The MCA revisit, that runs the risk of people that aren't completely ignorant getting a say, though. Yeah, I know, but that's what's going to happen. Because do you know who's going to drive for that? Companies. See, the problem that they're going to have is some of these AI companies are getting so damn rich off of it, they're going to start becoming major political players. Like, if you look at who majorly drives, like, a lot of the, like, political lobbying, it's usually your tech companies, your pharmaceuticals, and your, like, resource companies like oil and stuff like that. They're usually the dominant lobbyists. Well, I almost feel bad for them. I don't need noble phantasms to kill these guys. They just run into me and die. I don't remember if this is one where you have to get your people to the end. I don't believe that it is. I think it's just kill the bosses, yeah. Let me do it again. I just have to be careful that I don't, like, overzealously kill them all. Oh, really? I was gonna get him with the extra attack, but I'm surprised that I didn't get a crit. You win if you kill Asterios and Theseus, yeah. Going by the issues tab, the crashing thing was never addressed, by the way. Really? Interesting. Go on, hit Ptolemy. I dare you. I love how it attacked the only unit it could attack to not get, like... to not get the other units to 100%. Oh, just barely. Form an app for the people that can't emulate. Yeah, I mean, most people can. It's more of a desire to do so. Oh? Theseus gonna do a thing? Nope. Theseus not gonna do a thing. You know what? Let's see if we can just crit him, but I doubt it. Yeah. That tights post, very informative and detailed. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like your social media is usually what you make of it. I get a lot of funny memes and like dog videos and stuff. It is to a degree brain rot, but it's like at least it's like positive brain rot. It's not like depressive brain rot. Yes, Urael, attack, please. She's gonna really hit Artoria, probably. Or not. Really want tall. Oh, wow, okay. I've also found that if you can brute force a Grail front, taking AoE units is usually better, because you can just sit there and like, oh, I'm fighting multiple of you, and now I killed you all with the same NP. I should have gone with the QA. Now I'm going to have to plow through Urael on this turn, which is going to be difficult. Might be able to do it with Artoria NP. Okay. Closest I get to doom scrolling is art scrolling. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's where like you do get stuff like that where it's like, oh, you start getting like a ton of like AI art or art that you're like not as interested in. But it does happen. AI decides to suicide itself. Yep. Oh no, he's buff. So I need at least one more turn. Gonna grab that. So I just cannot kill Asterios on the next turn here. Which means we're just going to play defensively. And if we're going to play defensively, we're going to play offensively. The best type of defense. You fool, you've given me my noble phantasm with stuff to spare. Okay. Pocket phone CAD while I babysit. Nice. Hope you've been good, Wood. What have you been up to? Okay, so now I have managed to end my turn without attacking Asterios, which Asterios will attack me. And he's really angry, so he's probably gonna like bust some bars here, if not both of them. There you go. Okay, he skill sealed his own ass. I don't remember if he can attack twice in one turn. I don't think he can. We're just gonna go ahead and blast him and get rid of this bar preemptively. The Lancer is pretty strong, Cad. Did you roll for him? Are you talking about you talking about Ptolemy? No, I did not roll for him. He is really good though. I actually do think Ptolemy is a undersold unit to a degree. Okay, let's hope I get a lucky crit. I literally have said like let's hope we get a lucky crit, and it's been the exact card it needs to be like 3 times now. In the past like 2 days. I can't keep getting away with it. You guys hear that YouTube has been shutting down tech channels and saying stuff? I think it's like false flags from AI. And yeah, 100%. I think that's a YouTube problem. YouTube has been on the forefront of using AI to do stuff for years, and it's not a good thing. Okay, chat, one more. The final Grail front, and then we're done. Then I will have done day and night on every single one of them except the final one, which you don't have to do. Seeing the nephews a lot, nice. Always a good thing. YouTube is at the cutting edge of having AI tell its users to get bent. I think YouTube's monopoly is slowly coming to an end as well. You know what? We're gonna use her. Too much. Still too much. The good thing about Cursed Arm is Cursed Arm at least is just like difficult to kill. Chat, one day I'm gonna finish this Mystic Code. I keep forgetting it's unfinished. Gotta do dinner, have fun, no problem. Persona and the Nasuverse share similar concepts. Fun fact. What if I told you that they're both fans of each other? Okay, so this one's just don't kill. Fuck it! We ball! I don't think there's a loss condition here. So I'm just getting in here and going ape shit. There's one more? Yeah, but you don't have to do it. There's no benefit. Here, I thought I was only going to get one enemy. That was dumb of me. Oh, I should have gone with the other quick card, but whatever. At least that one crit. NP seal. Damn it. Not cool, game. Oh, at least they get to move off the defense down square. Unfortunately, she's just going to get thwacked. Gonna just let her kill the Shadow Knight. I maybe should have turned her on the other Lancer one, but we should be okay. I still allow her to move into the space. Oh, right, we get 2 turns, so this is actually ideal. Be gone, Hydra Thought! Cad, you have to complete it 100%? No, I mean, that functionally is 100%. There's no reason to do the final one on a different setting. Oh, wow. Wow, really? Okay. I did not expect that. That was a nasty turn for them. Shouldn't do that, but I'm going to. I'm just basically being bullheaded here. Because I only have the one more chest I have to get. Damn, Sugitani not doing so hot. Gonna stagger. Part of it's that crit damage buff they're getting is just nasty. So Sugitani is dead. Like outright in the like second turn here. That's kind of freaking nuts, honestly. That is a bad turn. And I'm gonna get it again here. Just please don't let them... Bro! Come on! I should not have done that. It's okay, though. I'm just gonna go for the Arch Chain here. Lancers do hit the hardest. No, like I said, it was the crit damage buff was what they were like killing me with. When YOLOing doesn't work. To be fair, I should not have done that, but it is what it is. Okay, this is getting kind of annoying. I thought he was going to go down the other way, so it's like they're trying to just give the Cerberus more turns. Okay, thank God she guarded it. Fuck you, Cerberus. I don't need this shit. Hours left. I mean, we're fine. I'm literally gonna be done with this in the next like 10 minutes. Oh my god, why? Why do you stand right on the thing? Be careful about how I do this. I'm just gonna attack her over here. Gets Cursed Arm with his dodge. He might be able to take that, but I'd rather get Artoria the charge and stars. And now I should get the last remaining chest. I'll probably just dip her into here so that she's plugging one of them. Ptolemy's gonna need some help. We're gonna actually pull back. Gonna move Castoria there. And the Master there is bait. And we'll let this be a defensive turn, because I messed up a little bit and shouldn't have done that. Oh my god, are you really gonna NP me right away? You piece of shit! And buff nullify. Good god. Okay, let's see how long some of this does. Just one left. So dumb. Gonna go with it. It's not gonna be the best of circumstances here, but kind of got to. Just realized you have on a mismatched Mystic Code. Which one? It's entirely possible I do. Okay, just do that. Like, are you referring to the Da Vinci one? Because yeah, I should move it. I've known that about I like how it perfectly spawned a caster there, of all things. Oh god, dude, why? How could you ruin this? Hmm. There we go. This is such a great song that's just being ruined by Cartman. But that is the point. To carry on. He has the voice of an angel. Not what I would have used to describe. Having seen the original Styx in concert, it is what it is. This year's summer one and only one offensive art servant? Wait, I'm confused. Oh, you're talking about the Mystic code, not the command code. Yeah, no, I'm just using the Mystic code just to level it. Like, it's literally a, like, well, I'm gonna get this done one way or the other. Oh, wait, we didn't have to kill him? I remember that. I thought I remembered having to do the whole thing. Okay, there you go, chat. We got them both done. The only thing left undone is the other variant that you can't claim, and there are no chests during. So there's nothing to do for it. God, he's literally dying as this song goes on. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize Neo skipped it. I'm not gonna waste the skip because it's got like 5 seconds. That's my bad though. Yeah, maybe let me do. So chat, we should get the new ordeal call nodes tomorrow as well. Oh. So chat, this happened. And I was like, oh, okay. Wonder if I can get away with Alexander. Let's try it and find out. When's the Good event? Probably not till later in November. That's what I'm saying. We have like a couple of weeks of like not much to do. So I wasn't even thinking of making the guide until like later this week. I just don't know if this is going to be enough for the refund. Why are like some of my emotes on Discord not generating? Okay. Rolling millions of FP during Budo. I mean, that is what that is. That's what I say. Like, I really hope they give us the quality of life, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. It's something we've been waiting on a long time now at this point. It'll be 2 weeks at the very least for Guda Guda because the OC campaign and the DL campaign has to play out. Yeah. That's why I did the video that I did today, because, which, by the way, chat, new video on YouTube if you guys haven't checked it out. But it's like, I knew people were going to be like, huh? Where's Guda Guda? When are we getting Guda Guda? Why is Guda Guda? Who is Guda Guda? And I'm like, well, yeah, here are all of your questions answered. Ah. How's Guda Guda? Exactly. Now chat understands. How are we doing on this? We only have 1,000,000 points left. But I still have all of this. Why is Guda Guda? Oh, I like that the bot literally clipped you. Arch, thank you for the 45. I grind for old man cores. Damn, that's based. Thank you for the resub, Arch. Hope you're having a good one. I guess I can get one of these. Nope. Did not want to pull that out. That was way too many foes. A 40 stack can last a good time. Can't wait for your more in-depth version, Cad. Sorry, of what? Auto select for leveling Cs is sorely missed every month. Yeah, I mean, that was something like JP just got that, and it's still like I've already used it multiple times. It has been something that like feels like it was way overdue. It was something that they had mentioned like an entire year prior to that, and even by the time they had mentioned it, it was already overdue. So I don't really know what they were doing in that regard. That's one of the things that concerns me is that they are maybe like not on the up and up and not having the time to like do, you know, normal things like quality of life, which maybe we'll see that after you know, who knows? Like after the end of part 2. That's really funny. Apparently, Dune sent out a like dev diary to people, and it's so obvious why. Like their player count is just absolutely dove. Yeah, they're like, oh, we encourage you to keep providing feedback on Discord, Reddit, and Steam by engaging in discussions. I'm like, people aren't discussing it anymore. They're just leaving the game because their feedback is not actually getting worked on. So they're going to allow character transfers and server merges. I don't really understand the point of doing a server merge at this point, though. Like, it's kind of stupid because if you get a lot of people to come back, we do be Devin, yeah. Like literally, it's like they'll follow soon after, and by the end of the year, we'll outline all the necessary information about this process. It's like you're trying to create a persistent online, almost MMO-like atmosphere. You should not be doing like that, like server merges, because one, people might come back, and two, one of the best things is having a vacant server for a game that is like a survival-esque game where you can build. Like, you don't want these servers to be ultra full. So merging the servers is actually kind of a problem. The issue is, again, they're trying to cater to PvP players that are complaining that there's nobody to kill left. And why is there no one to kill? Because you fucking killed PvE. Nobody wants to play PvE in this game because you made it miserable for the PvEers. Team is making excellent progress transforming the Landsrat into a contract-based system that offers repeatable PvE activities. Why wasn't it this before? Like this is you changing what your in-game was. Deep Desert back to its intended purpose as a sandbox area where players can compete for control of space. What? What do you mean you're going to transfer it back? I actually hate this line. Like, they've made so many improvements to the Deep Desert, and you're going to revert them? Bug fixes, ongoing balance updates. In-game vendor with past Twitch drops. That's actually nice. Wait, really? We aim to provide players with meaningful ways to disengage from combat encounters. I don't believe you. Improved player logging system. Cargo container for carrier ornithopters. The upcoming patch will enable the ability to travel between maps with harnessed vehicles. That was, I don't know why this wasn't in at launch. It, like, their game kind of fell apart without this capability. And it's nice to have it, but it's so weird that they're adding it now after the fact, and the players had to, like, demand it. Which is interesting, because it means some of the other things are not a big deal. Wait, so you still haven't done the cobalt paste thing? Not everybody can or wants to log in to check power taxes constantly in the game. A notification service that sends you status of your base via email. Well, squarely aimed at you, Ben. That's actually a good change. Destinations, treasure maps, races, construction challenges, duels, faction versus faction maps, improved control points, scavenger hunts, temporary crafting challenges. I'm gonna be really honest with you. You don't have to do any of this shit. You don't have to do a planned activity to make a live service game good. just provide players with the framework to make their own. And I'm dead serious. Player run activities are always going to be more interesting than anything that the devs do. Because devs try to like do one or two things and then phone it in and repeat it ad nauseum over time. Whereas like players are adaptable and creative. So it's like, make your game more fun and more fleshed out. Don't worry about doing canned activities for like other people. Uh-oh. I think I froze, chat. There we go. Cody, they give you the 11. Have you watched the Final Destination movies? No, we have not watched them yet. It is on the to-watch list. Give me 1 second here, chat. It is bugging out. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why that stuff happens, but like literally, I have like mass driver failure, and it's so weird. Oh, they lied. So hold on, chat. There's something I'm looking for. Oh. Okay, so like literally they are going to do the base backup tool. That's actually a big thing that they're testing. And it's so funny to me that they are like, hey, let's test this feature now that our game is dead, because it's what the game needs for it to be a dead game. And I'm like, fair, but that also means that they actually can pivot and make these things. So it makes me really wonder what they're doing in the background. The chat, I said we were going to do a reaction stream, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So, unfortunately, YouTube, because YouTube is really copyright anal, I have to end the stream on you guys' side. I'm sorry for that. But if you want to come see the reactions and come along and watch the videos, feel free to come over to the Twitch side of things, or Twitter, or Kick. I think I'm live on all of them right now. Well, except for Kick, which apparently keeps bugging out on me. I don't know why that happens. But yeah. So we're going to go ahead and end it over there. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. I will see you guys for the next one. It'll be Thursday because tomorrow is date night again.